Hi, I'm Sharon. I garden on a large yard in a small town in east central Saskatchewan, Zone 3, and this is my Sask garden. Today's the day for bringing in all the houseplants. The temperature is going to be nice today and probably tomorrow, and then it's going to take a big dive into the maybe we'll hit 10 for a high on Monday. It's supposed to rain some and going to get really cold at night. The Most of what I have here are cacti and succulents. They can tolerate colder temperatures, but it's nice to get them ready and into the house before the awful weather hits. This is my collection that likes full sun in the summertime, and this is a little south-facing deck. So they get full sun, but the ones on this side of the stand tend to get a little bit of shade during the hottest part of the day, which is also probably a good thing, so that they don't burn. As the summer progresses and into the cooler nights, they start to get a little bit of cold stress, and that brings on some very nice colors, like on this fire stick, for example. So on a nice day in the fall or late summer, I like to gather them all up. I put them in a shady spot in the yard, and then I treat them for bugs before I bring them in. And this is the main product that I use is Endol. I bought a big jug of concentrate. It mixes into a spray bottle, 50 milliliters of Endol for every liter of water. I also keep some isopropyl alcohol in a bottle. That is what I treat mealybugs with. It's very effective. I use it all winter long as I see mealybugs on any of the products. It's safe, effective, and all you have to remember is not to spray it in sunlight and don't put it back in sunlight. I leave it out of sunlight for the day, actually. The Endol, it says it controls all stages of aphids, whitefly, scale, spider mites, mealybugs, caterpillars, beetles, chinch bugs, and other listed insects. It is, I have found, an extremely effective product for bugs of all kinds. So I'm just going to get them all moved, and then I'll show you how I go about spraying them. So here's all my big guys, all lined up in a shady spot. And here's all my little ones that I set up on a cart just for ease of putting them on the cart and then pushing them into the shade. This pot here I put together at the beginning of the summer, just with extras that I had that either fell off or I plucked off, and I potted them up, and gee, that sure turned out pretty. I really like it. So at the same time, I like to inspect the plants just to see if there is anything I need to be concerned about. These on the stand stay pretty clean, but they do get some little spider webs. And so that kind of stuff I pick off. I'm not too concerned about it being buggy, and if there are any bugs, any spiders, little spiders in there, then the Endol will take care of them. This jade plant is actually a bit of a mealybug magnet, so I tend to watch them fairly closely throughout the winter months. This is also a type of jade plant or crassula. This one is never usually bothered. I find these lighter colored plants. This one is silvery. This one is sort of a silvery green. And there's a variegated one just over there. They don't seem to be bothered by the spider mites like the deep green plants are. Here's another one with some little spider webby things in there that can get picked out, brushed out. They don't tend to water out, I find. Maybe with a strong spray they would, but I don't usually do that to these. I like to control the watering. Speaking of which, I won't be watering these until I get them back into the house. They all go on a tray, a drip tray of some sort, and so I'll water them when they're back in place. It helps with the weight. This yellowing, that's sun stress, and they will green up. This plant is the same as that dark green crassula that I just showed you, but they will green up once they're out of bright, full-on sunlight. This was right at the top of the shelf, and so it was just getting uh, blasted with sunlight all day long. As you can see, this might be a little bit of sunburn, but it really doesn't affect the plant other than changing the color. This container as well, I just put together maybe a couple months ago from cuttings, and they sure do make nice cuttings. These, I call them jelly beans. I'm not sure what they're called. These are very difficult to keep in the house over the winter. They just like such strong sunlight in order to be happy. Otherwise, their little jelly beans just start falling off. When I spray, I do so to the point of runoff on the plant. So I make sure I get in there really good and give it a very good spray. What you have to remember is not to spray in sunlight, not to let them dry in sunlight, and just let them dry nice in the shade. Okay, I'm going to get the rest of these done. Okay, so the sun-loving succulents are all done. Now we're going to head to the backyard and get the shade ones done. I have a couple of these big guys that I'm wanting to winter. I'll do that in a separate video. I have these all set up and ready to spray with the end all. These spend the summer outdoors in this screened in deck area. It's got those skylights. It doesn't get any direct sun, but it does get bright filtered sun pretty much all day long through the summer months. And since they've spent the summer in that screened room, they really don't get a lot of bug action. I am going to give them a spray. I have been inspecting them pretty much throughout the summer when I'm in there, so I know that they're not really bothered by any bugs, but just in case they have some spider mites, I'll give them a spray. You're probably wondering where I keep all those cacti and succulents and tropical plants that I have. Not too many tropicals, but cacti and succulents, and I'm going to show you the setup at the end of this video. So all of the spraying is done. Pots have been cleaned and brought back in. It takes a while. It's almost like a jigsaw puzzle for me to put them all back where I want them to go. I put them in the windows based on the amount of light that they need. All of these on this stand are pretty much full sun, except for the third shelf, which tolerates, the ones at the front anyway, tolerate lower light levels. These are all mostly small cacti and some of the smaller type of snake plants. This is where the majority of them go. This is a south-facing, fairly good-sized bay window. The shelving unit that's in there is, first of all, for each shelf takes, I think, 400 pounds, so it can handle a lot of weight. It's 4 feet wide and 2 feet deep, I believe. So I could fit a lot of plants on here. Again, the ones nearest the window, closest to the window, are all highlight plants, and the ones closer to the inside or on the north side, I guess, of this shelving unit, those are the ones that can tolerate lower light and continue to grow without stretching too much. Through the winter, I don't really water them very much. They got a big drink today after I brought them in, and most of them will not get another drink until probably Christmas. Certainly the cactus won't get a drink until Christmas. Some of the others I keep a little more moist. However, I really don't want to encourage any growth now. I want the growth to slow down and then completely stop by Christmas time. The reason for that is because our light levels are so low, even right in the middle of a bay window that faces south, the light levels are too low for the plants to continue to grow. So all I'm really doing is trying to make them survive through winter, putting them into a dormant state, and then once around March comes around, I start to water more frequently to start spurring on growth, and then hopefully by middle of May they go back outside in their respective places. They put on really nice growth in the summertime. I water frequently in the summer, as much as they need. As soon as the soil is a bit dry, I'm watering them again and fertilizing them again. I did not fertilize today with the watering because, again, I don't want to encourage any growth. One of the reasons that I chose to grow more cacti and succulents is because they tolerate our indoor winter conditions very well. As long as you don't water them and try to encourage growth, they put up with the furnace registers, the hot air blowing on them. There's 2 registers in this bay window, so they get plenty of that hot, dry air blowing on them, whereas tropicals would not tolerate that. So it's a good plant for the environment that I'm able to give them. And of course, the other nice thing about these is they require so little care, and they're very little mess through the winter time. They don't drop leaves or anything like that. They need very little water. You could go away for a month and not have to worry about them at all. So that's actually a big benefit to growing cacti and succulent. So that's going to be it for today. That's a big job done. It takes me almost all day by the time I get them all off the shelf, spray them, and then cart them back in and figure out my jigsaw puzzle where everything's going to go. Yeah, it takes a while to get it done, but they're going to stay here for 6 months now, so it's all worth it. That becomes, I like to call that our living curtain. The blind doesn't come down at all during the winter, and that just provides the screening that we need to the street. Thanks very much for watching today. I really do appreciate it. I hope it was helpful to you in some way. If you like the video, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. Thanks a lot. See you.